Welcome to a deep dive into the infotainment of the 2019 Lamborghini Urus, or Urus as we say here in America. Now basically I'm working with a reskinned version of Audi's MMI system, which is A-OK. I've got two screens. The lower one is mostly for climate functions while the upper one takes care of everything else. They're both operated by touch and there's a little bit of haptic feedback to make sure that I know what I'm actually pushing, but I gotta say, leaves a lot of fingerprints. So on the top row of the bottom screen, I've got a few buttons here, and most of them are pretty self-explanatory, right? This one is going to turn on and off the stop-start. This is going to be for hill descent control. This is your lane keeping assist, but then you've got one with like 3 little squares. Well, this is where you can store some favorites from the top screen. So if I want to add a radio button, just click on radio. I can click and hold here, and then I can save it as a shortcut, or I can save it as a favorite. A shortcut's going to throw it down here. A favorite is going to throw it into the gauge cluster. The next button that looks like a little house, that's if you have a garage door opener attached to your car. The next one is to turn on or off your heads-up display. And then finally, if you just want to turn off that top screen, you can just push that button right there. Now moving on to the top screen, I've got a row of shortcut buttons along the left-hand side for home, radio, media, phone, and navigation. And then I've got access to those features along the top line of the home screen as well. So I've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both standard. And then if I want to do something like, let's say, adjust my seats, I can go into that Urus tab, go in here, adjust my seats, and I can even set it up for a massage, which is my absolute favorite. If I'd like to do things with my driver assistants, just click here and I can customize their levels, and I can even drill down even deeper. So if I want a speed warning, which I probably do want that, I'm in a Lamborghini, I can do that here. I can also dial into my adaptive cruise control. I can change the settings on it, make it sportive, a little bit more aggressive than a regular computer can drive. And then I can go down here into predictive control and decide how I want that adaptive cruise control to behave along a curve in the road. So I can change it for slow, medium, fast, or just turn the whole thing off. And Lamborghini has got this cool precognition feature where it can slow the car in heavy traffic, and it can even stop you from turning left in front of oncoming traffic. So we've already talked about radio, so I can move along to media and phone, but honestly, you're probably going to be using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here, so I don't really need to go into it. And plus, it's pretty self-explanatory. But what's really cool is in navigation, because it uses Google Maps and you can put it into satellite mode. When I click here on the search button, I get one box entry, and I can do it either with my voice or I can write it down here on the screen, and it understands both printing and handwriting.
I-C-E-C-R-E-A-M.
Now, some of the entries that come up actually have a Yelp review attached to it, so you can come up and actually see what people are saying about your ice cream. Now, clicking to the left of the search button, this is where you're going to have to enter an address if you're going to a different state. So right now I'm in California, but let's say I want to go to Colorado. Here's where you're going to have to enter it, and then you've got to enter it as house number, street, and city. It's not one box entry. But when you get back to the map, there is pinch to zoom capabilities, and it is pretty quick. Now, most of the time I use my phone to navigate, but I've been finding that I've actually used the in-dash system in the Urus, and that's pretty rare. It's really good here. Well, if you want to know more about how this supercar SUV drives, I've got a full review and a bunch of pictures over on theroadshow.com, and I've got a separate video, so be sure to check that out. But hey, while you're here on YouTube, like and subscribe, and leave me a comment about this system here. Do you think it's pretty cool, or do you think it should be, I don't know, a little bit more simple, or maybe a little bit more complicated? I want to know what you think.